The movie opens with two children playing happily inside a bungalow, unaware of the strange shadows moving quickly outside their window. The world has been taken over by zombies. It's been 6 years since the virus spread. But somehow this brother and sister have managed to survive alone in this deserted house, something not everyone could do. One day a couple arrived at their bungalow in a car. The boy named Tom stepped out holding what looked like a toy gun. The man asked, "Where are your parents?" Tom said nothing. That night Tom and his little sister locked every door and window. Outside, a few childlike zombies were wandering around ready to break in. They somehow survived the night. In the morning Tom checked the bullets in his gun, and it became clear that it wasn't a toy at all. Later when the children went out again, the same truck returned. This time the couple looked more serious. "Where are your parents?" they asked again. "They've gone to town to buy some things," Tom lied. The woman smiled sweetly and said, "The town is hours away. Until they return we'll stay here and keep you safe." After noticing the bungalow's food and working refrigerator, they decided to stay for good. The man named Jack went outside to hide their car, as if someone might be following them. That night Tom listened quietly to their conversation. The couple seemed to like the place a little too much. So, for safety, Tom hid his sister in a secret room, a habit that had kept them alive all these years. In the morning Jack was already sitting with breakfast ready, acting as if he owned the place. Tom stayed calm but then said something strange, "It'll be over before you know it." Night began to fall and the world outside grew silent. Tom suddenly asks in a low voice, "Is it time?" His pet dog came close and sniffed him and slowly shook her head. Without a word, Tom lifted his little sister and locked her safely inside the security room, just like he always did when danger was near. Downstairs the couple was still enjoying their evening, unaware of what was about to happen. The girl got up saying she needed to use the bathroom. That's when she froze through the window. Several zombies stood hunched in the dark. She quickly switched off the light hoping they wouldn't notice her. But before she could calm down, the door behind her creaked open. Jack instantly sensed something was wrong. He rushed in with his gun drawn, but only to find his girlfriend lying on the floor covered in blood. That was the last time anyone saw the couple again. Meanwhile, Tom and his sister carried on as if nothing had happened. In the morning they were back outside playing like always. It was clear this wasn't the first time someone had tried to attack their home. Far away, a man with long hair trudged through the snowy forest. He noticed several traps and nets set in the snow and followed their trail until he reached the bungalow. Suddenly a little girl appeared in front of him. Before he could react, a sharp pain struck his neck. He had been injected with anesthesia. The attacker was Tom. When the man woke up, Tom stood over him holding a toy gun. His name was Auden, a special forces soldier heading north in search of his missing wife. Tom found him different from others. Auden didn't beg for food or medicine, he just wanted his gun back. Tom made a deal, "I'll return your gun if you help fix the electricity in this house." Auden agreed and asked, "Where are your parents?" This time Tom told the truth. His father was a missing scientist, and his mother, a security agent, had gone on a mission days ago. While working, Auden noticed the running machine that powered the entire bungalow. He was amazed. The kids were generating electricity by running on a treadmill. Just then a zombie appeared outside the window. Without hesitation, Auden grabbed an iron rod, went out and killed it. When Auden came back with his clothes soaked in blood, Tom shouted, "Why did you kill it? These windows are bulletproof. No matter how many zombies come, they can't break in." Auden didn't argue. He could see how scared these children really were, and he began to feel sorry for them. That night he decided to help. He got on the treadmill himself and generated electricity for the bungalow. He ran for hours until he was exhausted and almost collapsed. Tom's little sister wandered in quietly watching him. After a while she giggled, wrinkled her nose and said, "You smell bad," before running off laughing. Feeling embarrassed, Auden went to take a quick shower. Later the little girl came back with a small hairpin, a simple gift for him. Early the next morning Tom left the house as usual. Every day he and his sister checked the traps they had set around the bungalow, their first defense against zombies. This time one of the traps had caught a zombie still alive and moving. Inside, Auden finished his breakfast and explored the house. In a small study room once used by Tom's mother, he found some photographs and a car key. Thinking the car might work, he rushed to the garage, but it was completely wrecked. Then he noticed a small locked room in the corner. Curious, he stepped toward it thinking it might be a tool room. Just as he was about to open the door, Tom came back and shouted, "Stop." By now, the siblings had begun to trust Auden. Tom's sister no longer slept in the security room, but strangely every night before sleeping, Tom handcuffed himself to the bed. Before dawn, Auden woke up to faint footsteps outside. It was Tom out on his usual patrol again. He walked toward the same trap from yesterday, where the zombie was still struggling, not yet removed. Auden followed him and looked at the creature closely. Something about it felt familiar. He thought it might be Tom's mother. Just as Auden reached to free the zombie, Tim raised his gun and stopped him. Auden stormed back into the bungalow in fury. He went straight to the tool room, the one Tom had stopped him from entering before. Inside he found a mat on the floor and muddy nail marks scratched into the walls. It was clear a zombie had been kept there. Now Auden's suspicions are confirmed. Suddenly the sound of an engine echoed from outside. A group of new survivors had arrived, but something about them felt wrong. Their eyes were cold and their guns were ready. They surrounded the bungalow, peeking through windows and searching for supplies or victims. Auden was unarmed and couldn't fight back. Tom, watching from the hills nearby, saw everything. His little sister stood at the upstairs window, waving frantically to warn Auden. The robbers started heading toward her side, but before they could reach the door, Auden leapt out of the shadows and took one down with a swift strike. Tom exhaled in relief. Seeing the house sealed with bulletproof glass, the rest of the robbers gave up and drove away. After that day, Tom completely trusted Auden. He even returned his weapon. But Auden felt torn. Maybe it was time to leave, yet something about these children pulled at his heart. That night he dreamed again of his wife's voice calling him. The next morning he made a decision. He would take Tom and his sister with him to search for her. He could protect them and find his family at the same time. But Tom shook his head. "I'll stay here," he said quietly. "My mother will come back." Before Auden could reply, gunshots cracked outside. The robbers had returned, this time with reinforcements, and they had captured Tom's sister. Auden grabbed his gun and both sides aimed at each other. Then instantly 2 robbers dropped dead from shots fired in the distance. Auden ran forward and rescued the girl. When he looked up, he saw the shooter. It was Tom's mother, Lena, a government agent. But before he could reach her, another bullet hit Auden in the chest. He fell hard, the world fading into silence. When he finally woke, his wound had healed and a rope was tied around him. He staggered inside the bungalow. Lena was there waiting. She told him everything. Those infected by the virus lost their minds. They became empty shells and driven only by hunger and thirst. However, there was a special kind of infected person in this world. Unlike normal zombies, their minds remained completely normal, and they also possessed the physical strength of zombies. They were immune to all diseases and could heal quickly from injuries. But they had one major weakness: if they were severely injured or if too much time passed, they would enter a crazy mode and temporarily become just like ordinary zombies. Auden was shocked to hear this. "Am I one of those special infected?" he asked. Lena nodded yes. "Otherwise you would have died the day you were shot. Instead you went crazy for a short while and recovered by the next day." Auden was stunned, but Lena wasn't finished. She revealed another truth. The boy Tom was also one of these special infected. In fact, the couple who died that night had gone into their crazy mode, and Tim had been the one who killed them. Now Auden finally understood why Tim handcuffed himself every night before sleeping. Auden asked if there was any way to predict when this crazy mode would occur. Lena explained that Tom's pet dog had been specially trained for that. It could sense the faint scent that Tim's body released just before he went into that state. Auden then remembered the room with the scratched walls and nail marks. That was where Tom was locked up during his crazy mode. Suddenly the sound of an engine echoed in the distance. Lena, holding her daughter, stepped outside and met some militiamen. Among them was a white-bearded man who recognized her. He told her that his daughter had run away with a young man, and he had been searching for her with his team ever since. Lena assured him, "If I see her, I'll let you know." The man left with his team, looking disappointed. That night Auden casually asked, "What is this bungalow really?" Lena replied that the National Security Bureau had already anticipated the outbreak of the zombie virus long ago. The government had already built thousands of safe shelters in isolated areas across the country. Each shelter was made with strong, specially protected materials and had a self-sufficient power supply system that made it fully movable. After hearing this, Auden felt uneasy. He believed that Lena should have shared this information with others earlier. Maybe it could have saved many innocent lives. But Lena only gave a sad smile and shook her head. She then revealed the truth. Tom and his sister were both born with congenital heart disease. Their father was a biologist and the first person to discover the zombie virus. When he realized that his son wouldn't live more than 3 years, he made a desperate decision. He injected the zombie virus into Tom's body. By a strange twist of fate, Tom survived and became a special infected. However, when Tom went into his crazy mode for the first time, his father tried to stop him but was bitten. He couldn't save himself and eventually turned into a normal zombie. In the end, Lena had to kill her own husband with her own hands. Hearing this, Auden was deeply shaken. He began to feel great respect for Lena, a mother who had sacrificed everything to protect her small family. Over time, Lena's family began to trust Auden completely. One day, Tom's dog suddenly started barking loudly. Lena immediately understood what it meant. Tom was about to enter his crazy mode again. She quickly locked him inside a secure room. Moments later, horrifying screams echoed from inside. Lena stood outside the door frozen in pain, but she didn't move because this was the only way to protect everyone. Auden came up quietly and said gently, "Let me keep watch now. Maybe this is what it means to have a man in the house." But no one expected what happened next. Tom's little sister suddenly collapsed while playing outside. Lena rushed to her side. Her daughter's heart condition had returned. There was no advanced treatment available. Auden suggested a risky idea. What if we infect her with the zombie virus just like Tom? Maybe a miracle could happen. But Lena immediately refused. She said, "Tom's survival was 1 in a million. I won't let my daughter suffer the same fate." In the end, they decided to let the little girl go peacefully. Lena, Tom and Auden were all present when she took her final breath. After the funeral, Auden decided it was time to leave. Even though Lena and Tom begged him to stay, he remained firm in his decision. He set out once again, this time in search of his wife. After Auden left, the house felt emptier than ever. Lena and her children could feel the silence, a deep loneliness that seemed to fill every corner of the bungalow. Meanwhile, in the nearby forest, the white-bearded man soldiers discovered a hidden car, the same one Jack had buried in the snow. As fate would have it, the story took another turn. The couple who had once lived in Lena's bungalow were the same people who had kidnapped the white-bearded man's daughter. Now, with this clue in hand, the old man became suspicious again. The closest house to the hidden car's location was Lena's bungalow, so he decided to investigate it once more. At that time, Auden was sleeping alone in the snow when he suddenly woke to the sound of hurried footsteps. When he stepped outside, he saw footprints scattered across the snow and tire marks leading directly toward Lena's house. A wave of fear and panic hit him. Without wasting a moment, he began running toward the bungalow. From a distance, he saw that Lena's house was now surrounded and occupied by armed militia men. Inside, the white-bearded leader was shouting angrily, accusing Lena of murdering his daughter. He claimed she had hidden the truth because one of his men had found a small personal item belonging to his daughter inside her home. Lena was speechless. She had no explanation and no way to prove her innocence. Meanwhile, Auden quietly circled around the house, evading the guards, and managed to sneak inside through the back. In the kitchen, he found Tom hiding in fear. He whispered about the number of enemies inside. Hearing that, Auden's expression changed, his calm eyes turned cold. Moving like a shadow, he began taking down the militiamen one by one, silently and swiftly, without mercy. Every corner of the bungalow turned into a hunting ground. He was like the god of death moving through the darkness. But when Auden finally reached the main hall, several rifles were aimed directly at his head. It seemed like the end. Then, to everyone's horror, Auden suddenly stabbed himself in the throat. The soldiers froze and were shocked beyond words. But Lena understood instantly what he had done. She grabbed her child Tom and quickly slipped out of the hall. Moments later, Auden's body began to tremble violently. His eyes turned blood red and his breathing grew heavy. He had entered his mad mode. Now there was no stopping him. Auden became a raging monster, tearing through the white-bearded man soldiers one by one, leaving no one alive. The white-bearded gang was completely wiped out. This time, Lena hadn't tied Auden up beforehand. She had no choice but to flee the bungalow with her son. Auden's furious roar also attracted nearby zombies, adding to the chaos. When Auden woke the next morning, the bungalow was in ruins. On the table, he found a letter left by Lena. It said that she and her son had traveled north by car, and if fate allowed, they might meet again someday. Smiling faintly, Auden picked up his sister's favorite doll, slung it on his back, and set off toward the north. This was the story of the film. The story is truly intriguing. The special infected appear almost immortal, and the ending carries a deep emotional weight. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to watch the original film. That's all for today. See you next time.